Hi everyone, this is Zara from Baby Wise She, and today I will be talking about bottle feeding. My daughter was bottle fed almost exclusively from birth, and I guess from the time she was 2 months, she was totally on formula. There were a few concerns regarding bottle feeding that I had, which I know for a fact that most of you moms may also be having, and a lot of them I realized were kind of baseless. There are a lot of things that you have to take care of. It's not really as easy as breastfeeding. There is a lot of paraphernalia, a lot of cleaning, a lot of sterilization involved, and I thought that doing a short video on this would be really helpful for those of you who are already bottle feeding or who are contemplating it. There is also a lot of stigma attached to bottle feeding. A lot of people say, oh, if you feed your child with a bottle, she's going to get a lot of infection, or she'll get used to it, or her lips will become bigger. I went through all these nuskas and advices and criticisms, and believe me, none of them were true. Actually, some of them were true, but we will go through that point by point. From the beginning, I used these bottles from Philip Event. This is what they look like. I will share close-ups. The Avent bottles come in 3 sizes. It's 150 ml, 250 ml, and then 330 ml. These are said to be anti-colic bottles, but to be very honest, I didn't really see any improvement in colic thanks to these bottles. First off is choose the right nipple, the right teat for your child's bottle. Most of the bottles have various teats. For example, I know for a fact that Kiko and Avent, these two companies make teats for different ages. They have a newborn teat, they have a different teat for when your baby is 3 months old, 4 months old, 6 months old, and so on. What this really means is that when you first buy the bottle, it comes with a basic teat for newborns. It has one little hole which is not too big, and the flow of milk is very slow, which is basically what a newborn needs. But as the baby grows as the baby grows older and hunger increases, they need a larger teat size, which is where these teats come into use. Teat for a 3-month-old would have wider holes or maybe multiple holes, and so on. Even for a 6-month-old child, there is a different kind of a teat. So you need to check this and buy accordingly. If you use a newborn teat for a 6-month-old child, it really has a less chance of working because the baby will not be able to suck much milk, and that causes irritation, and at the end of the day, your baby will reject the bottle. A lot of you must have gone through the experience of your child rejecting a bottle. I see so many queries every day where moms say, I'm going to work, I will be joining work, but my baby is refusing to take the bottle. First thing is, please check the teat. It has to be for the right age, and only then will your baby be able to take his or her feed properly. My next tip is regarding sterilization. Sterilization is extremely important regardless of your child's age. I read a few comments from moms who say that, okay, my child is 1 year old, so I don't sterilize her bottles now. But as per me, that is really wrong, because then yes, it does encourage infections. A lot of doctors say that you use a bottle, your child is going to get a cold, a tummy infection, thrush, anything of that sort. But the fact of the matter is that this happens only if the bottle has not been sterilized well. If your bottle is clean and sterilized, there is no way your child will get an infection. My daughter, as I told you earlier, was exclusively bottle fed for 13 months, and she had no infection that arose from the bottle. She had a cold a couple of times, but that was really because of weather change, but not even once was it because of the bottle. Invest in a good sterilizer. Nowadays we are really lucky, we don't have to boil water on the stove and dip and sterilize your bottles in that. It doesn't really take that much time at all. We have microwave sterilizers, we have electrical sterilizers. It is really very easy. I use the Philips Avent microwave sterilizer, and I used it all throughout those 13 months while I bottle fed. I used it and it was a blessing. I have traveled with it whenever I went on a holiday, and it really worked for me. I had no problems with it whatsoever. Also, use a separate bottle brush. You know, we use those little squishy things to brushes to wash our utensils. Don't use the same thing. Use a dual-ended bottle brush, which has the thick end, which has one thick end and another narrower end to clean the nipple. It really ensures that every part of the bottle is properly cleaned. I would suggest always keep your child in a reclining position. Initially, of course, you would be holding your baby like so, but don't keep your child totally horizontal while feeding, because they could swallow too quickly and that would just result in gas. If your child is sitting, or even if your child is a little older and you have some work to do, just prop your baby up on a cushion and go do your work. There's no issue at all, but just try to ensure that your child is in a reclining position. My daughter had a lot of issues with colic, so I always had to take care that she was in a reclining position. Another tip is to tilt the bottle fully so that the nipple is full of milk. Just check that there is no air pocket inside of the nipple. Otherwise, again, that results in gas and colic issues. Also, do change your baby's bottles and teats. Usually the teats, I would say, change whenever they either tear or every 3 months. And the bottles, you can actually, if your bottle is of a good quality, then you can change it even after it just starts to yellow. You will notice once you start washing, you will notice that the color changes a bit. The minute you notice that it has a little yellow tinge, just switch and change your bottle. Point would be regards to the measure. Please do measure the formula carefully. Do not put in more scoops or lesser scoops, because then your child will not get the nutrients that they require. It gets diluted and your child will not get it all. So please use the measurement. If there's too much, then there could be other issues like colic or indigestion issues. So please do take care of that. So when you prepare your bottles, once you are done, please do shake them properly like so. This is just to avoid any hot pockets. Sometimes the formula just sort of coagulates into this little ball inside the water, and that could cause issues when your baby is feeding. Usually everyone suggests to give your child a warm formula or warm milk. In my case, though, it was a little different, because my daughter would totally reject anything warm. If I would warm the formula, if it was hot water or warm water, she would reject it outright. She would only drink her milk if it were in cool water. So in my case, I would just take warm water, fill up her bottles and keep them alag se in a closed area, and whenever she was hungry, I would take it and make the formula and feed her. I also prefer wide-mouthed bottles like so. You know, the ones with this wide mouth instead of the narrower ones, and this really just makes it easy to spoon in the formula. With the ones with the narrower mouths, what happens is that there's a chance of a lot of spillage, especially in the middle of the night when you have to wake up and you're in your zombie state and you need to prepare the bottle, and invariably you will end up spilling the formula here and there. So these kind of bottles are really useful for that. There's no spillage, nothing, and you can make sure and you can be sure that the measurements are correct. If your child does have their formula in warm water, and by mistake you have heated the water way too much, then please do test it on your hand first before giving it to your child. And if you feel that it's a little too hot, then you can just immerse it in a little bowl of cool water, or just run it under normal tap water until it cools down a notch. A question that I have come across a lot on pages on Facebook is, can I use the same bottle after an hour? My child didn't finish her bottle and there's a lot left, so can I use it a little later? The answer is no. Once your child's mouth has been on the bottle, on the teat of the bottle, it becomes a bacteria playground. There is no way you should use that, because then there is a lot of a chance of infection and you are exposing your child to that risk. Also, with regards to formula, it starts spoiling after 45 minutes, so that's the max you can keep prepared formula. Breast milk, I guess it's about an hour. With regards to breast milk, you're supposed to store it in the fridge within an hour of expressing and immerse it in a little warm water before giving it to your baby. But once your child has used that bottle and if he or she does not finish the milk, please discard it. Do not keep it for longer, because then again you are exposing your child to the risk of infection. Also, in case you're traveling, I would suggest carry multiple bottles instead of using the same bottle again and again. Even if you're traveling for a short period of time, for a shorter duration, even then, if you just rinse out a bottle and use it again, there is still a lot of bacteria on the bottle, which does not go unless you have washed it properly with a detergent and sterilized it. New moms usually worry about when to feed the baby. Some have a query of, my baby hasn't fed for 3 hours, my baby hasn't fed for 4 hours, but another friend of mine, her child has been feeding every hour or so. Does that mean my child is not getting any nutrition, or will there be weight issues? Absolutely not. Babies will feed when they are hungry. Every child's hunger is different. You cannot peg it down. So do not go by what others say. If someone else's child has been feeding every hour, it is not necessary that your baby will also feed every hour. Your child may also feed every 3 hours. My daughter, when she was being bottle fed, she had different cycles. For example, for the first 2 months or so, she used to have only 30 ml every 2 hours. After that, it became 60 ml but every 3 hours. So it differs. Do not compare. Final and most important tip, girls, is to please burp your baby. When a child is being bottle fed or breastfed, there are a lot of chances of gas bubbles forming, and that turns out into colic. And as you know, that ends up with a huge cry fest, which is not fun, neither for the child nor for you. So please do burp your child frequently, even in between feeds. If you're feeding your baby, just stop after say 30 ml. If you're feeding your child 60 ml, after 30 ml or halfway through, just give it a break, burp your baby and go back to feeding. That really helps in the long run. So guys, I hope this video has been useful to all of you. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you have any more queries about bottle feeding, do let me know. I will be doing a separate video about the myths of bottle feeding. So please stay tuned for that and do subscribe. So moms, stay wise, stay safe. See you.